What if I told you that the pain you're feeling right now is your greatest weapon? That the very thing breaking you apart can be the force that rebuilds you into someone she never expected? Most men suffer through breakups because they don't understand one simple truth. Pain is power, if you know how to use it. Right now, you're at a crossroads. You can let this consume you, or you can harness it to become something unshakable. Think about it. How do most guys react when a woman leaves? They beg, they plead, they try to explain, to fix what's already broken. They tell themselves, if she just understood, she'd come back. Nope, that never works. Because attraction isn't built on explanations, it's built on emotions. And the more desperate you seem, the less attractive you become. But the man who wins, he does something completely different. He disappears, he rebuilds, he transforms. He doesn't just go, no contact. He becomes an enigma. He becomes the man she thought she'd never lose, and by the time she realizes it, it's already too late. This isn't just about ignoring her. No contact isn't some passive move where you sit in silence, hoping she'll reach out. Nope. This is war. A silent war where the battlefield is her mind. Every second of your absence is a seed of doubt planted in her head. Did I make the right choice? Why isn't he chasing me? Did he move on already? You don't block her because you're angry. You don't disappear to play games. You execute a strategy so cold, so calculated, that by the time she finally looks back, she won't even recognize the man standing in front of her. And that's when regret hits her like a tidal wave. This is about shifting the power dynamic, using Stoicism and dark psychology to make her feel the full weight of her decision. She expects you to crumble. You rise. She expects you to be bitter. You're indifferent. She expects you to be stuck. You outgrow her so completely that she starts questioning if she ever truly knew you. And that's the moment she starts to feel it. The breakup 10 times harder than you ever did. If you're done suffering, if you're ready to stop waiting for her and start transforming yourself, hit that like button. Subscribe, turn on notifications, and comment below. My pain fuels my power. Now, let's begin. Number 1. The emotional flip, turning pain into power. Right now, it feels like the weight of the world is pressing down on you. The memories, the what-ifs, the constant replaying of every conversation, every mistake. It's suffocating. You wake up thinking about her. You go to sleep with the same ache in your chest. But what if I told you this pain isn't your enemy? It's your greatest weapon. Most men crumble under heartbreak. They drown themselves in distractions, drinking, meaningless hookups, endless scrolling, anything to numb the emptiness. They beg, they plead, they chase, thinking that if they just say the right words, if they just prove their worth, she'll come back. Nope, that never works, because attraction isn't about logic, it's about emotion, and the more desperate you seem, the less value you hold. But a stoic man, he doesn't run from pain. He doesn't let it consume him. He takes it and shapes it into something unshakable. Think of a blade being forged. It doesn't take shape without fire, without pressure, without being beaten into form. You are in the fire right now, and what you do next will determine whether you come out stronger or let yourself be reduced to ashes. Pain is just energy, and energy, when properly controlled, is raw power. Every emotion you feel, anger, sadness, regret, can be used. If you channel that energy into the gym, your work, your goals, you create something unstoppable. Every time you feel the urge to text her, drop down and do 50 push-ups. Every time you start missing her, put in another hour building your future. Transform your suffering into strength, and soon you won't even recognize the man you're becoming. Here's the truth. She expects you to stay broken. She expects you to be stuck, replaying the past, waiting for closure that will never come. She expects you to remain the same man she left, but that man is gone. And the moment she realizes that, the moment she sees you thriving instead of suffering, that's when she starts to feel it. Nothing haunts a woman more than the realization that the man she left has become the man she can no longer have. That's when the regret sets in. But by then, it won't even matter to you. because you'll have already leveled up beyond her reach. If you're done making decisions from a place of weakness, if you're ready to take back control, comment below, "I master my emotions. They do not master me." Number 2. The Cold Vanish, becoming an enigma. Silence is the most powerful response you can give a woman after a breakup. It's not weakness, it's a weapon. When you disappear without a trace, when you remove yourself completely, you create something she never expected. A void. See, she thought she had you figured out. She thought you'd reach out, that you'd fight for her, that you'd beg for another chance. And when you don't, that's when she starts questioning everything. Most men fail at no contact because they don't actually commit to it. They leave little breadcrumbs, liking her posts, checking her stories, hoping she notices. Nope, that's not real detachment. If you truly want to shift the power, you don't just go quiet, you vanish. No texts, no calls, no watching her social media, no indirect messages through mutual friends. You become a ghost. And here's where dark psychology comes into play. When something is suddenly missing, the mind starts craving it. It's called the Zeigarnik effect. People remember unfinished situations more than ones with closure. And right now, you are the unfinished story in her mind. The absence of your presence becomes a question she can't answer. She won't feel it immediately. At first, she'll think you're just giving her space. Then, she'll assume you're trying to make her miss you. But as time goes on, as you continue your silence, that's when it starts to sting. The moment she realizes that she no longer has access to you, that she doesn't know what you're thinking, what you're feeling, or even if you care anymore, that's when the regret starts creeping in. Because the reality is this: people don't appreciate what they have constant access to. If she's used to you being available, she's taken you for granted. And the only way to shift that? Remove yourself entirely. The less she knows about you, the more she thinks about you. The more she thinks about you, the more she starts to doubt her decision. And by the time she finally starts to miss you, by the time she considers reaching out, you won't even be the same man she left. You will have evolved beyond her expectations. If you're done being predictable, if you're ready to control the frame, comment below, "I leave without a trace." Number 3. The Unshakable Frame, mastering emotional control. The moment she left, she expected something from you, a reaction. Whether it was sadness, anger, desperation, or even hatred, she wanted to see something. Why? Because emotion equals attachment. And as long as you're emotionally reacting to her, you're still in her control. But what happens when you don't react? What happens when you remain calm, composed, and completely unshaken? That's when the power shifts. Most men crumble after a breakup. They let their emotions dictate their actions. They send long emotional messages, trying to explain. They check her social media obsessively, looking for clues about her life. They let frustration take over, lashing out in bitterness or trying to make her jealous. And every single one of those moves tells her one thing: she still controls your mind. A stoic man? He operates differently. He understands that emotions are natural, but acting on them is a choice. He doesn't deny the pain, but he doesn't let it consume him either. He masters it. This is where you adopt the principle of indifference. Indifference is not about pretending you don't care. It's about truly reaching a point where her actions no longer shake you. Whether she moves on or comes back, it doesn't matter, because your world doesn't revolve around her anymore. And here's where dark psychology comes into play. When someone expects an emotional reaction and doesn't get it, they start to question their own power. This is what will get under her skin more than anything. She expected to see you hurting, but instead, you're unmoved. She thought you'd seek validation, but instead you've gone completely silent. She hoped you'd be watching her, but you've disappeared so fully that she doesn't even know if she still exists in your mind. And this is what makes her feel the breakup harder than you ever did. Because when you hold your frame, when you show that nothing shakes you, she has no choice but to start doubting her decision. If you're done reacting, If you're ready to take full control over your emotions, comment below. I control my mind. No one else does. Number 4. The social shift, strategic reinvention. Right now, she assumes she knows who you are. She assumes that when she left, you stayed the same. That you're still living the same routine, thinking about her, stuck in the same cycle. And this assumption is your greatest weapon. Most men after a breakup, they stay stagnant. They isolate themselves, drown in their emotions, or try to prove something on social media with forced posts and fake happiness. That's not how you play this game. Instead, you make real moves. You shift your entire reality, not for her, but for you. The biggest mistake men make is trying to make an ex jealous directly, posting thirst traps, flexing, oversharing. Nope, that's emotional, and emotions show weakness. What you need to do is evolve so powerfully that she doesn't even recognize the man you're becoming. Upgrade your environment, start going to new places, meet new people, build new habits. Become so deeply engaged in your self-improvement that you don't even have time to think about her. And here's the dark psychology behind it. Women hate the idea of being replaced, but what truly terrifies them is irrelevance. It's not just about you finding someone new. It's about you evolving beyond her reach. She wants to believe she was a pivotal part of your life, but when she sees you thriving without her, when she realizes she was just a chapter and not the whole book, that's when it hits her. Even if she doesn't follow you on social media, trust me, she's watching. Or at the very least, someone she knows is watching for her. Every move you make, every subtle shift in your energy, it all gets back to her. And when the version of you she once knew no longer exists, that's when she starts feeling the void. Because now the question isn't, does he miss me? It's, how did he move on so fast? And once that question enters her mind, she starts to chase it. If you're done living in the past, if you're ready to become the man she can't reach anymore, comment below. I evolve beyond my past. Number 5. The power of indifference. No hate, no love, just nothing. The opposite of love isn't hate, it's indifference. Most men get this wrong. They think that showing anger, bitterness, or trying to win the breakup will somehow prove their worth. Nope. That's still emotional attachment. You see, as long as you feel something, love, hate, frustration, she still has power over you. Every time you react to her in any way, even negatively, you're reinforcing the idea that she still matters. And that keeps her in control. A stoic man doesn't waste time on things outside of his control. She made her choice, and you accept it. Not because you're weak, but because you refuse to be controlled by anything but your own mind. Think about it. If she sees you angry, she knows you still care. If she sees you trying to flex on her, she knows she still has space in your thoughts. But if she sees nothing, if you act like she never existed, like she's just another face in the crowd, that's when she starts feeling the breakup harder than you ever did. Why? Because women expect men to react. They expect drama. They expect to chase. They expect emotion. And when they get nothing, when you act as if she never even mattered, that's when self-doubt starts creeping in. She starts questioning everything. Did I even mean anything to him? Was I just another experience? How is he so unaffected? And that's when she starts checking, scrolling through your social media, asking mutual friends about you, looking for any sign that she still exists in your mind. But by then, you won't even care, because true indifference doesn't come from pretending. It comes from realizing she was never the prize. If you're done wasting energy on the past, if you're ready to detach completely, comment below, I owe nothing to the past. Number 6. The scarcity effect, making yourself a limited resource. People only truly value what they can't have. And right now, she thinks she still has access to you. Not directly, maybe, but in her mind, you're still available. She assumes that if she ever wanted to reach out, you'd respond. That if she showed the slightest interest, you'd come running back. And as long as she believes that, she feels no loss. Most men make the mistake of staying available after a breakup. They don't chase, but they don't completely disappear either. They linger. They leave doors open. They say things like, maybe in the future, or they respond to her breadcrumbs, thinking it's a sign she wants to come back. Nope, that's not power. That's weakness disguised as hope. You need to understand one thing. What is always available is never valued. If she thinks you'll always be an option, she has no reason to feel your absence. But the second she realizes she lost all access to you, that's when the regret sets in. This is why you don't just go no contact. You make yourself scarce in every way. You don't just ignore her texts. You become unreachable. You stop going to the same places. You stop being in her world entirely. If she ever tries to check up on you, all she finds is a blank space where you used to be. And here's the psychological twist. People want what they can't have. It's basic human nature. Scarcity creates demand. The harder it is to access something, the more valuable it becomes. When you were always there, she had the luxury of taking you for granted. But now you are a mystery. Now you are something rare, and suddenly she starts to wonder if she ever really had you at all. By the time she realizes that your attention is no longer free, that your presence is no longer an option, that she may have lost you for good, that's when she feels the breakup 10 times harder than you ever did. If you're done being an option, if you're ready to become irreplaceable, comment below, I am a privilege, not an option. Number 7. The subtle reminders, leaving psychological triggers. Disappearing doesn't mean being forgotten. In fact, if done correctly, your absence will haunt her more than your presence ever did. Why? Because the mind never lets go of unfinished stories. Right now, she expects you to vanish in silence. She assumes that once she stops seeing you, she'll stop thinking about you. Nope, that's not how this works. Your goal is to leave behind subtle psychological triggers, small, indirect reminders that keep you in her subconscious without you ever having to reach out. And here's the key. You do this effortlessly. Most men try too hard to prove they've moved on. They post thirst traps, show off fake happiness, or try to make their ex jealous with forced social media moves. That's emotional. That's weak. A real man? He simply lives. But he lives in a way that makes her wonder. He becomes a mystery. Maybe you post a picture, not for her, but for your own documentation. But it's in a place she's never seen you before, doing something she never expected. Maybe a mutual friend casually mentions, yeah, he's been different lately, doing his own thing. And that's it. No details, no explanations, just enough to plant the seed. And that seed, it will grow. The moment she starts asking, what is he up to? Who is he with? Why does he seem different? You've won. Because curiosity is a powerful emotion, and the second she becomes curious about you again, she's no longer in control. She'll start looking for signs of you, checking your profile, asking about you, wondering why you aren't reacting, why you aren't chasing. And the more she wonders, the more space you take up in her mind. But by then, you've moved so far ahead that her curiosity won't even matter to you. If you're done chasing, if you're ready to let her chase the memory of you, comment below. I become unforgettable. Number 8. The reverse chase, letting her feel your absence. Right now, she assumes she has the upper hand. She assumes that because she ended things, because she walked away first, you'll always be there, waiting in the background. And as long as she believes that, she will never feel your absence. But here's the psychological trick. You don't chase her. You let her chase the space you left behind. Most men make the mistake of either chasing directly or indirectly. They stay available. They casually, like a post. They linger in her world just enough to be noticed. That's weak. What you need to do is the exact opposite. You don't just leave, you become untouchable. And this is where dark psychology kicks in. Women don't truly feel a breakup when it happens. They feel it when their power over you disappears. At first, she's confident you'll return. But as time passes and you remain silent, as she watches you evolve instead of collapse, the doubt creeps in. Wait, did I misjudge him? Why hasn't he tried to reach out? Is he really over me? That's when the panic sets in. And when she starts feeling that uncertainty, when she starts wondering if you've truly moved on, that's when she starts chasing. But here's the real power move. By the time she realizes she lost you, you won't even want her back. Because this entire time, while she was waiting for you to come crawling back, you were leveling up. You were healing, growing, becoming the kind of man that doesn't dwell on the past, but builds his future. And the irony? Now she's the one feeling the regret. Now she's the one checking her phone. Now she's the one wondering if you'll ever return. But you won't, because you've become a man she can't reach anymore. If you're done chasing, if you're ready to let her chase what she lost, comment below. I walk away and she follows. Number 9. The mindset shift from loss to liberation. Most men see a breakup as a loss. They think they've been robbed of something valuable, that they've lost the one, that they're somehow incomplete without her. That's the biggest lie you've ever been told. A breakup isn't a loss, it's a release. A release from illusion, from attachment, from the version of yourself that thought he needed her to be whole. The moment you stop seeing this as a tragedy and start seeing it as a transformation, everything changes. The problem is, society has conditioned men to believe that they need a woman to validate their worth. That being chosen is what makes a man valuable. Nope. A man's value comes from himself, from his discipline, his purpose, his ability to stand alone. The second you shift your mindset from needing to being, from chasing to attracting, you step into real power. Ask yourself this: why did you place so much of your happiness in someone else's hands? Why did you believe that a single person had the power to define your emotional state? That ends now. Because here's the reality: she didn't complete you, she distracted you. And now, without her, you're finally forced to face yourself. That's where most men break, but that's also where the strong ones rise. Pain is temporary, but the man you become after this, that lasts forever. You don't move on from a breakup, you evolve past it. You don't seek revenge, you don't try to make her jealous. You simply outgrow the version of yourself that needed her in the first place. And the moment you truly understand this, the moment you realize that no person, no relationship, no loss can ever take your power away, that's when you become untouchable. If you're done seeing this as a loss and ready to embrace your own power, comment below, I needed this pain to find my strength. Number 10. The final move. When she comes back, you're already gone. Here's the part no one tells you. If you execute this correctly, she will come back. Maybe not today, maybe not next week, but at some point, curiosity and regret will get the best of her. She'll send a casual, "How have you been?" She'll like an old photo. She'll find some excuse to break the silence. And this is where most men fail. They see that message, that sign of interest, and they think, this is my chance. They rush back in, eager to prove they're still the same guy, still willing to give her what she walked away from. Nope, that's the trap. Because here's the truth, she doesn't miss you. She misses the power she had over you. She misses knowing you'd always be there, waiting, hoping. And the second you give her that validation, you erase everything you built. But you're different now. You're not the man she left. That version of you is dead. The new you doesn't need her. The new you doesn't even think about her. So when she reaches out, the decision is yours. But make sure you understand the reality. If you take her back, you're telling her, I never really changed. If you entertain her games, you're proving you still control me. But if you remain detached, if you acknowledge her but keep it brief, if you respond with nothing more than a calm, unbothered energy, that's when she realizes she lost you for good. And here's the final truth. By the time she comes back, you won't even want her anymore. Not because you're trying to play hard to get, not because you're holding on to bitterness, but because you've evolved so far past the old version of yourself that she doesn't even fit into your new life. She thought she broke you, but in reality, she built you. If you're done waiting, if you're ready to step into your new reality, comment below, "She lost me forever." You started this journey thinking you lost something, thinking that she took a piece of you when she left. But now you know the truth. She didn't take anything from you. She freed you. She gave you the perfect opportunity to rebuild, to become a version of yourself that doesn't just attract women, but commands respect from the world. You see, breakups don't destroy men, they reveal them. They show you where you placed your value, where you lacked discipline, where you depended on someone else for your own sense of worth. And the moment you see that clearly, the moment you take back control, you become unstoppable. This is the final lesson. You never needed her. She was a chapter, not the book. And by now, she's probably feeling the weight of her decision. She's watching, she's wondering, she's regretting. But here's the irony. By the time she wants you back, you won't even care. Because you're not chasing the past anymore. You're not looking back. You've outgrown the version of yourself that would have settled for her. So keep moving, keep building, keep evolving. Because the man you're becoming, he doesn't wait for anyone. If this message hit you, if you're done playing small, comment below, "I am unstoppable." And before you go, make sure you like this video, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss another lesson. Stay strong, stay focused, and never forget, your power was always yours.